Today we are going to be looking at the seasons through art. Okay? So remember the seasons? The seasons are spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And we're going to be looking at different famous pieces of art for each season. And we're going to look at colors. We're going to look at what we see. And we're going to look at how those things connect with the season that it's trying to show. Okay? So we're going to start with spring. So this first painting is painted by Pieter Bruegel, the younger, and it's titled Spring. Okay? Now this was painted in the 1600s, so this is quite an old painting. This is a beautiful painting. It shows gardening, planting a garden. The whole community is here. When we say a community, it's different members of society. For example, lots of different men and women and children, and everyone is helping together to build the garden. And this looks like a community garden. You can see different people with shovels or spades. We see different plants waiting to be planted, different trees even. We also see in the background, we see a river going through the town. On the right, we see either a house or a barn. And next to the barn are different animals. And then on the left, we can see different houses where the people live. And so this is a community garden in the spring. Now the spring is when we plant. No, I started planting a few weeks ago. And now I have some different plants, and lettuce, some carrots, and beans. And that's what we do in the spring. We plant so that we have vegetables in the summer. This next painting here is a painting by Claude Monet, and this is a couple hundred years later in the 1800s, and this is an impressionist painting. This has many different colors. The previous painting had a lot of browns and reds. This painting is much more colorful. Look at all the blues and the greens and the whites, even purples. Now, the title of this painting is called Orchard in Spring. An orchard in spring. Now, what's an orchard? An orchard is a field of fruit trees. For example, it could be a field of apple trees. A field of apple trees would be called an orchard, or a field of cherry trees would be called an orchard. So this is an orchard in the spring. What we see is a girl. She's sitting on the ground, and I don't know what she's doing. Maybe she is reading a book. Maybe she is writing a letter. But this is a tree. We see trees, and they're in blossom. That means that there's flowers on the trees when they're in blossom. The title of this painting is called Tahitian Landscape. Tahitian Landscape. Now in the background we see some mountains. We see a man in the middle of the picture, a man or a woman, I'm not sure. And he or she is carrying two different bags, okay, on their shoulder. On the left we can see a little dog. I believe it's colored in a dark green dog. But it's showing a hot summer day. Look at the different trees. We see different palm trees there in the background, and other trees as well with more leaves. Look at the colors. Look at all the different greens. We have a yellow green, a true green. We have several different blue greens, and those are just for the trees. And then the ground, we have different colors like oranges, purples, pinks. It's a beautiful summer day. Now here's another nice summer painting, and this is done by Derain. And this is showing the beach, or a harbor. The title of this painting is called Boats in the Harbor. And we see this is a unique painting in the way that it's painted. It's painted by using different little spots or different marks to show form and to show life. For example, in the water, it's showing little rectangles of color. We see lots of different boats in the harbor. And the sand here looks very red. We have a very red beach. As well, the sea is green and blue. And in the background too, we see more reds and purples. We see a few people. Possibly there's a couple people in a boat just coming into shore. And we see a person on the right looking at what is happening at the beach. So what are some of the main colors in this painting? Well, there's orange, yellow, greens, and some purples to accent this painting. So the title of this painting is called Autumn. Now this is an unusual painting because it is made up of many different fruits and vegetables that you find in the autumn. The form of this painting is a man's face with a scruffy beard. But if you look closely, you can see lots of different foods. For example, pumpkin. Now pumpkin is a very typical food for autumn. And we see that there's a pumpkin right on the top of his head. But also he has grapes for hair. It's very interesting. The grapes for his hair and the grape leaves that come down. And then if you keep going down, you see different things for his nose, different like potatoes and pears and other gourds for his face. And then if you look at his shoulders, you see it's made of some sort of a harvesting basket. Now the colors here are very different than the typical colors in the spring photo. Remember the spring photo where you had bright purples and bright pinks and bright greens? Well, this is very dark, much darker because winter is coming in the autumn. And so we have dark browns, dark reds. Look at the grapes, dark purples, and that's the color. Those are the colors of autumn. The title of this painting is Autumn. We continue in autumn, and this painting is called Autumn Leaves. Autumn Leaves. And here we have 4 girls, and they are collecting leaves. And so they have a couple piles of leaves. I used to collect leaves a lot when I was in America because we have so many leaves from our trees, and you need to put them somewhere. Usually you can put them in a garden, and they can be good fertilizer for your plants. But here we have 4 girls, and they are collecting leaves. Now there seems to be 3 older girls and 1 younger girl. Now the younger girl has got blonde hair. She's wearing a purple dress and she's wearing a red scarf. It's also interesting that she is eating an apple. The sky seems clear. Let's look at some of the colors here. 2 of the girls are wearing black. One of the girls is wearing brown and the youngest girl is wearing purple. And the leaves are brown. In the background it seems to have some blues and some purples for colors, and maybe it's sunset where the sun is going down. So this is a fun photo. This is showing winter. Now, in winter, one of the main aspects of winter that we see in paintings is snow. But the snow is very, very difficult to show in a painting. It's very difficult to paint snow. Why? Because snow is white. And so it's very difficult to paint something white. Because usually you start with a white paper or you start with a white board. But here we have lots of fun colors in this painting. Now this painting is called Winter Landscape. Now what color is the snow in this picture? Well, it's incredible because the snow actually reflects the colors that are around it. So the colors of the snow here is pink, yellow, green, light blue. But it's snow. It shows you snow. The house is a bright yellow. And then the road that goes to the house, or the driveway that goes to the house, on both sides has trees. Now these trees haven't got any leaves. So it's obvious that this is a winter landscape, because in the winter time is when the trees lose their leaves, if it's that type of a tree. The title of this painting is called Hunters in the Snow. Now in the bottom left hand corner we see different hunters with their dogs, and they're coming home after a long hunt. The dogs seem very tired, and these hunters, maybe they didn't have a lot of success. Maybe they have only 1 or 2 foxes that they caught on their hunt. They're walking through the snow and through the forest to come back home. Now, when you see the town in the background, you see a couple lakes. And on these lakes, you see the town people enjoying their winter. They're not hunting. They're playing hockey, they are ice skating, and they are having lots of fun. I wonder what you would prefer to do in the wintertime. Would you rather hunt for foxes, or would you rather try ice skating and enjoying some time on the ice? Maybe ice skating, playing hockey, or just going for a walk in the snow. Well, thank you for taking this tour with me through these different pieces or works of art that show the seasons. Today we're in the spring. It's been quite rainy. The mountains are beautiful, and there are lots of flowers in bloom. So maybe this weekend you should take a walk and enjoy some of the flowers that are there and see the different colors. Okay? Goodbye.